This world is about connections. Who you know and who can help you out. See, in this line of work, everybody's got a price, and everybody's got something they can provide if reached under the right circumstances. Lucky for you, your old pal Tyler here has got some connections in some high places, and he knows some people, who know some people, who know a guy named Ronnie, whose nephew knows some more people. So if you're looking for information that you shouldn't have, for combatants whose names are only uttered by the most knowledgeable, experienced, and unwavering virgins in the realm, you're in the right spot. I have the forbidden knowledge for which you seek. I know these men and women. I've seen their mastery with my own eyes, and I've inserted more coins than there are grains of sand in an hourglass. These fighters bid their battles in the shadows. They spill their blood, or in some cases, clean their blood, to an audience seldom encountered. You may think you know the secret fighters of Mortal Kombat. Your Ermacs, your Scarlets, hell, maybe even your Tremors. But the true combatants discussed here today are not merely the repercussions of a misleading audit screen or an unplayable video game. You'll never see them dueling Liu Kang, Scorpion, or anybody else for that matter. The button prompts may be unorthodox, the requirements bizarre, but the rewards are surely immeasurable. I can't claim to convince you of their existence, for you'll only accept what you're ready to understand. Which begs the question, are you ready? The first combatant we will discuss today is also probably the most well-known. Hornbuckle, a man of mystery, not to be confused with the creepy middle-aged man who drunkenly catcalls girls at the other end of the pub, is a less reclusive warrior relative to his contemporaries, yet one whose power cannot be underestimated. Hidden within the recesses of the pit, if you want to catch a glimpse of this warlock, pull up to Mortal Kombat 2 or the retrocade Mortal Kombat 11, where in either way you'll see him engaging in fisticuffs with Blaze. As it turns out, Blaze is really the only combatant that Hornbuckle seems to have a problem with. They've really got an Austin Rock level rivalry going on, kinda at all times, except instead of duking it out
in front of the millions
across the globe, they break knuckles on a barely visible platform in front of a collection of disembodied developer heads, but, I guess we all get our kicks in different ways. You really gotta commend the guy though, because he does not beat around the bush. He picks beef with the final boss of the whole damn timeline 6 games before anybody else even comes close to catching on. And I'm not gonna say that Taven and Dagon are kinda bitch-made because of this, but I am going to imply it. Named after Leanne Hornbuckle, one of the names presented at the end of the credits, this figure is well known among all Mortal Kombat participants, most notably by Jade, who will occasionally pop up before a match and say, "Hornbuckle who?" in an act surely of bewildered concern. Her concerned confusion is understandable though, as it's tough to make out his exact appearance, but it appears that he's a green palette swap of Liu Kang, or rather that Liu Kang is a red palette swap of him. Now, I know the question you're asking, so please calm down and rezip your fly. I mean, come on, your mother's here. She brought flowers, and this is how you're gonna treat her on her wedding day? I'm fucking rambling. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, to unlock Hornbuckle yourself, well, let's just say that it's the opposite of the 9th track on Jack Harlow's 2019 album Confetti. As disclosed by the ever-credible source of Brian Abbott from Maine in a 1994 issue of Electronic Gaming Monthly, to encounter Hornbuckle, one must play Mortal Kombat 2 and follow the following multi-step guide to a T. Step 1. Go through every stage in the game 3 times. Step 2. Start your next match in the combat tomb. Step 3. Lose this match when you're at exactly half energy, and hit your opponent with not 2, not 3, but 1 high punch. Step 4. Go to your local liquor store or dispensary. Hell, if you live in Oregon, go to your local cocaine farm or psilocybin institute. Just do whatever you can to go completely numb both spiritually and physically, because it's at this point that you'll have realized you're wasting crucial hours that you could have been spending, pursuing a career, meeting new people, combating the creeping dread of inadequacy that laces your every unproductive action but that your constant lack of motivation refuses to quell. Basically literally anything other than what you're currently doing. After all, the only burn strong enough to burn away your lack of ambition or self-discipline is the sweet burn of Strawberry Rubinoff. Step 5. Go to the Living Forest and win 1 round by only ducking and using low kicks. Step 6. Win the next round by using only 1 special move, and don't worry, you get to choose the move. And finally, Step 7. If/when smoke decides to pop out, press left, down, right, block, low punch, and start. Here's the kicker and how you can tell if your efforts were successful. Following this combination, Smoke should say, harnessing his inner kindergartner holding a literal pile of dirt and chewed bubblegum, and I quote, "meet my best friend," and it's then that you will face Hornbuckle himself. Defeating Hornbuckle, well, you're left to your own devices on that one, though it should be noted to avoid his fireball that somehow uses every other fireball in the game at once, or his, mechanized hand that he has for some reason. Now, if you manage to defeat the warrior, which you will not, you will receive absolutely nothing. But you will be the coolest kid in Miss Gordon's second grade class, so come on, that's gotta be worth something.
Red Robin. Yum.
Not to be confused with your mall's most mediocre food establishment next to the Master Walk that's never fucking open, our next warrior is Red Robin, yet another Mortal Kombat 2 combatant with too much social anxiety to fight under the bright lights. The only evidence of this character's existence comes in the form of a screenshot from Infotainment World's 1995 MK2 Player's Guide, which claims he takes residence in Goro's lair and is also apparently both very fast and, quote, good at throwing you, while also jacking Scorpion's spear, but not in the fun way that you think. Besides this, and the vague understanding that his concept is that of an avian-themed ninja, we actually have very little information to dig out. Everything else, including the button prompts, combo strings, playability, all that junk, it all remains a mystery to this day. Or so we thought. Now, after some heavy excavation and insight into classified documents, the good news that I was able to find about Red Robin is that after the events of Mortal Kombat 2, he actually got some sort of a wake-up call. After his mom kicked him out of the house due to his passion for all red attire and plagiarism, Robin fell on hard times. With seemingly nowhere to turn to, Goro searched within himself and found the compassion to allow him to stay on the couch, at least until he got his feet back out from under him. 5 years later, with zero progress and anything other than marijuana tolerance, Red Robin finally made some semblance of change, moving back in with his parents and putting his foot in the door of the restaurant industry with big plans for the next massive gourmet burger chain, specializing in overpriced patties and bottomless drinks. What happened after that? Well, as they say, the rest is history. He died penniless at age 34 due to self-inflicted carbon monoxide poisoning in his mother's garage, with his prospective burger chain, Ruby Thursdays, dying along with him. But hey, at least his name will now forever be known to the approximate 100 people who view this video, so that's at least something. Mortal Kombat 2 has more hidden characters within its woodwork than a termite-infested church, and the list just keeps on growing with the one, the only, the infamous Nimbus Terrafaux. Kickboxer extraordinaire, our man Nimbus over here makes Semi-Schlitt look like Semi, well, you get the picture. Donning an all-black tracksuit, Nimbus first danced with the limelight in a March 1994 issue of EGM, with pictures donated by Wernersville, Pennsylvania's own Tom Grace. It's in this article that we discover how to encounter the black dude version of Chun-Li and the Sega Genesis version of MK2. Wherein players, upon encountering reptiles look to La Luna clue, must input right down right A C B B A right down right C B start, after which the game will reset and Nimbus will be playable. Much like Red Robin before him, Nimbus's whereabouts post-MK2 are unknown, though one can assume that his elite kickboxing abilities weren't enough to spare him from Shao Kahn's impending Earthrealm invasion. That being said, it is rumored that Skyland Fake himself would one day grow up to be John Jones, which would make sense of his absence as the Mortal Kombat tournaments are known for their strict drug testing and steadfast no-doping policy. Maybe we get a nice EA NetherRealm partnership and John Jones is in the Combat Pack 3. Maybe I'm slowly losing my grip on reality. Only Ed Boon knows the answer and he won't respond to questioning no matter how many times I give him the hose, so I guess we'll just have to wait on that one. To say that Mortal Kombat is a bloody sport would be like saying basketball is a bouncy one. When you're brawling with people capable of knocking your head off 3 times in a row, there's bound to be a bit of crimson coating the battlefield. When you start up a new match, however, the arena is always spotless. One may be able to chalk this up to some tricky Shang Tsung sorcery, but that would be a disservice. Not to a cleaning crew, but to the cleaning crew. The one, the only, The infamous Stan Luth, janitor to the stars, so great at his job that Shao Kahn gifted him both the gift of immortality and a lifelong occupation. This man takes permanent residence in Mr. Clean's brain rent-free. He is the Sugar Ray Robinson of intestine removal and ribcage sweeping, capable of wielding a Lysol can like a fully automatic M16. Fuck a 5-second rule, Stan Luth operates his broom handle with such precision that any crumb unfortunate enough to fall in his presence is destroyed and cleaned before you can even say the word coronavirus. Stan Luth may be the most uniquely obscure combatant yet, as not a single image or description of his appearance exists, but an actual interview somehow does. Video Games Magazine's November 1995 issue details journalist Marvin Seabum's interaction with the resilient cleaner, detailed here. Alright Stan, the first question I'm gonna ask you, it's just gotta be, how did you get the job as Shao Kahn's janitor?
It was like 10,000 years ago or something, Mac. I was looking for work, so I stopped by Khan's place and I said, hey, you got any work you need done around the temple? I didn't know back then that he was this all-knowing, sinister overlord. My mistake, right? So he throws me in this pit and makes me fight this stupid-looking guy with 8 arms and no pants. I was getting pretty angry, because this guy, he's trying to kill me. So as I grabbed the only weapon I could find, this plunger laying on the floor. Those things they unclog toilets with? It was pretty weird because flushing toilets didn't even get invented for another 9,800 years. But anyway, I picks up the plunger and I beat that 8-arm jerk silly. Silly, I'm telling you. He had blood spurting out of every limb before I was through with him. So Shao Kahn sees me whipping this plunger around and he gets to thinking, hey, we got something here. So he tells me he'll spare my soul if I keep the temple clean. Now who am I to argue? The guy's like this almighty evil sorcerer, right? So I picked up a mop and I got to it.
So it's your responsibility to clean up after all those Mortal Kombat fights?
Let me tell you, those guys make one heck of a mess. Intestines, bones, brains, body parts all over the place. I usually throw those things in an industrial-grade hefty bag and leave them out on the curb late at night, but the blood, holy mackerel, that's another story. There's gallons and gallons of it, and it don't clean up that easy. There were even a couple of centuries when Khan had people killing each other on a white carpet. That was the worst. And this was before they invented these new carpets that you can pour motor oil all over and it comes right up. Luckily, most battles these days are conducted on stone or marble surfaces, and those are pretty easy to scrub down, but it takes a lot of bleach and a lot of elbow grease.
Now, the rest of the article is going to be in the description down below for your reading pleasure. I could read it aloud myself, but I don't want to treat you guys like some Guantanamo Bay prisoners and force you to listen to that accent for much longer. So let's just do everybody a favor and move on to the conclusion. Mortal Kombat is a sport that attracts the world's greatest combatants, willingly or otherwise. But some of the most pugnacious challengers are the ones that we don't get to see. Ed Boon to this day still insists that there are hidden secrets within the bowels of Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3, but especially 2, and that they remain undiscovered to this day. The combatants we discussed here may be a part of the secrets he's referring to, but they still only scratched the surface. There's a whole underbelly to the Mortal Kombat tournaments, and oftentimes the characters you've never heard of are the most interesting, dangerous, or entertaining, if not all three. Hopefully you've enjoyed this insight into the more mysterious side of the Mortal Kombat universe, and if you did, please be sure to leave a like, comment something funky down below, and subscribe. And if you didn't like it, I want the fattest dislike that you've ever given a video, and then a multi-paragraph explanation for why you hate everything that I represent and every decision that led me to this point. Hey, chances are I'll probably agree with them, and if your insults are creative enough, fuck it, I'll throw them into the next video. But that's all besides the point. The only thing that matters, the thing that always matters, as always, my name is Tyler, and I am out.